This morning, Multnomah County District Attorney Mike Schmidt is calling the shortage of public defenders an urgent threat to public safety. He says the court has dismissed hundreds of cases this year alone because there aren't enough public defenders to represent people accused of committing crimes. Fox's Marilyn Deutsch joins us live from the Multnomah County Courthouse this morning. Marilyn, what kinds of cases are being dismissed?
You know, we are talking about both misdemeanors and felonies, including property crimes, crimes with firearms, low-level assaults, and domestic violence cases. Now, the DA says the courts have dismissed almost 300 cases since February because there are just not enough public defenders in the system to provide a defense to those accused of crimes who can't afford their own attorneys. And suspects do have a constitutional right to a defense. But right now, cases are routinely dismissed, the DA says, because the suspects don't have these defense attorneys. DA Schmidt put out his statement yesterday saying that, quote, just last week, a suspect that allegedly ran a car into a school bus of children, which subsequently had to be evacuated due to a leak caused by the incident, was released within 24 hours of his arrest due to lack of a defense counsel. The DA goes on to say, prosecutors in my office have and will continue to issue cases for prosecution and reissue cases that have been dismissed as soon as we are able. We refuse to turn our backs on victims simply because one pillar of our justice system is crumbling. And obviously, not only are victims waiting for justice, the DA says those committing crimes are just not being held accountable. The district attorney says this is an urgent and continuing threat to public safety. By the way, the American Bar Association tells us that Oregon has only 31% of the public defenders it needs. Last August, Oregon's Chief Justice fired the state's entire Public Defense Services Commission because the system was such a mess. The commission has since hired a new executive director who's going to try to fix this understaffed and underfunded system. Meantime, the Multnomah County DA says he's going to be publishing a list weekly of all the cases his office has had to dismiss or put over because there were no defense attorneys for the accused. Reporting live, Marilyn Deutsch, Good Day, Oregon.